Today we're going to go over a little bit of the installation of the roof panel that has been required this year for several sanctioning bodies. But this is a kit we sell, and to kind of give you a rundown of what you get. You're going to get a carbon panel. You're going to get a stiffener rib. You're going to get 10 of these clamps with nutserts and stainless screws. You're also going to get this small little 4130 T-support. So I'm going to show you what's in the car and then go over how all this stuff's used. Now, these clamps are a little bit different. We take an existing clamp and then we peel the rubber piece off of it and then heat shrink it so that it's the right size for the tube, because it's really hard to find exact 1/8 inch size clamps for the 1 5/8 and 1 1/8 tubing that's used in the roof section of these cars. So we kind of custom do these so they fit really tight. To get started, this piece here, this is a cardboard template that's going to fit in this car, and it's kind of give you an idea what this will look like when it's done. And it's real simple. The rules require the panel to go from the driver's side door roof pipe to the center of the race car, at least to the center. You can go a little farther, but it has to at least go to the center. So looking at this would be the main hoop. This slot is for the forward tube of the funny car cage. This is your windshield tube here, just to kind of give you an idea how this lays in here. So the easiest thing to do is take a piece of cardboard, make a nice pattern for the roof section that's going to be used, and then that'll give you a really easy way to lay it on top of the carbon before you cut that up. So this will be fit in the car first, then we'll transfer it to the carbon. So let's look at inside the car, and I'll give you kind of a few pointers on how we mount this to make your life a little simpler. So we've got this one already installed, and it's a little dark in here, so I'm going to try to light it up just a bit. But to give you a few pointers, this has to go around the funny car cage area, the roof area, the windshield tube area. Its design, its intent is, if the car's over on its roof and the roof panel would come off, it would keep the driver's arms and hands retained inside the car. So the mounting procedure is to use those clamps and fasten it to the main hoop and to the door roof pipe, to the funny car cage. And if you kind of look closely, you can see this tube right here. That's where that slot is in that piece of cardboard. And the reason it's slotted is because on the top of the funny car cage here in our chassis design, there's 4130 plates that keep the driver's head from being exposed to the top of the race car if it goes over on its roof. So for this panel to function properly, we need to be underneath of that. So this panel is actually slid in from the passenger side to the driver's side. And once it's slid in and fit, then the clamps are positioned, and there's really no set position. It's whatever works easiest to get the clamps on. You can see we have, there's a clamp right up here at the front in this corner. There's a clamp right up here in the center, and then there's one all the way on the edge. And there's one here at the funny car cage tube. There's one in the back. And there's one over in that back corner. So you can position them around so that you get a nice sturdy fit on the panel. And we're about an inch and a quarter away from the roof panel, so there's an air gap between the actual roof of the car and this carbon panel. Now, according to the rule structure, it's okay, it's allowable to notch around any existing switch panels or parachute handles that might get in the way. This particular car has clearance for the parachute handle, so that's the parachute handle there. So you can see there's adequate clearance for that. And the switch panel is actually down lower here. It's a touchscreen car, so it's mounted over here on the double frame rail. So we didn't really have any intrusions up here, so it made a nice clean installation. But normally you're going to have a switch panel up here on this tube. So you may have to notch that. You're going to have to notch it back far enough so that the driver can still see all the switches and access them easily. Now, that stiffener rib that I showed you, now we painted this one black, but it's right here, and it slips over the edge of this carbon panel. And what it does is, if this was just a raw edge, it would be unfinished, and it also wouldn't be very sturdy. So we made an aluminum folded panel that slips over this edge of this carbon And then that small little T-piece, that 4130 T-piece is right up in here. And that's just a center support for this. So there's one of the clamps right here that you get with the kit. And then you cut that, that T-support to whatever length you need, and then use it to fasten through the mounting screw that's here, and then it fastens with 2 little machine screws right through that rib. So you can kind of see we have a clamp up here in the front corner, and then we have one in the very back corner, and the screw, the machine screw that fastens through there, is drilled through that aluminum folded edge, so it secures it all together, and it makes it nice and stiff, and it's not going to flap around and make any noise. It really finishes it off kind of nicely, and it goes all the way to the center of the car, so it meets the spec for the rules, and it finishes it off nicely too. So this kit's pretty easy to install. It takes if you're comfortable working with this material, takes about an hour and a half or 2 hours to put this in. So you can see how when we slotted this, when we slid it in from that side, this portion of it slid underneath of those supports, and then this front portion was notched around the funny car cage tube and slid all the way over. Now it comes all the way over to this door roof pipe. It's like laying on top of it tight here. And the panel is flexible, so this roof isn't flat, and obviously putting this in an existing car is a little more difficult than if you could take the body off of it. But once it's all done, then we just simply put the roll bar padding back on it here, and everything is good to go. So it's you know, it's just one of those things that it's required, so you have to put it in. We try to make it as easy as possible. The clamps all fit really nice and tight to the chassis, so when you're done it's nice and solid. It's not going to look like some cheesy installation. And the panel's plenty big for any car, so we give you more than enough carbon to do it with, and it has a really nice finish on the bottom. So that's about it for this. It's really easy, and just like all of our other kits, if you have any questions you can call us and we'll be glad to help you out. But this hopefully this little video will answer any questions that you might have for the initial install.